Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to talk about books again. And I'm actually dying in here because this is so hot. The weather is so hot. I, I think you can probably see my sweat from there. So please bear with me. Other than this unfortunate hot weather, the month of June also brings us Pride Month. Yay! So today I'm here to give all of you a recommendation of my favorite Pride books or books with LGBTQ characters. Let's get started. It is getting late, so the room becomes very dark. So turn on the light. You can see me now. So the first book is I am sure you've probably seen it somewhere in a bookstore or in someone else's recommendation or all over the internet or in Netflix. All of us is very favorite Heartstopper. So it's a graphic novel. If you don't know, it's a graphic novel. It's actually is releasing in webtoon. Even today, I just got a notification that volume 7, chapter 21 of Heartstopper is released on webtoon, which is great. But I actually don't follow it on webtoon. I like to read the book version. Mostly, I love the series the most, not the book. I don't know, the casting, everything, the whole vibe of the series is so wholesome. So it's a YA coming of age and graphic novel. If you are interested in any of this genre, you should surely check this out if you haven't already. This volume, I don't know, I just love the cover of this volume the most. It's the fourth one. Moving on to the next book. If you like to read mythological books or Greek mythology especially, you should surely try some of it if you haven't already. It is one of my favorite books of all time. I have read it so many times. Sorry. I've read it so many times. The quotes, the characters and everything is just so perfect. And this was one of my first books of Greek mythology. I have read other books, but this was, I think, the first one. And I would recommend you to read it at first too, because there are some things that you will understand if you read it first, and then you read the other books where you will find the same characters again, and you will see there are some different characteristics in this. Some characters are a little biased in this book. So, like a protagonist, Patroclus, he is like the biggest sim for Achilles, so most of his point of view is quite biased, to be honest, and which the reader wouldn't understand if only reading this book or while reading this book. But after the after effect is gone, you would understand this, and while reading other books also help to understand this effect. I would recommend, if you read this book, read The Thousand Ships right after it. It was really eye-opening for me. Moving on to the next one. If you like historical books or books that are set in 80s or 90s or 70s era, and you love The Seven Husbands of Eden, I just so want to see this book on screen someday. But a very popular book, but if you don't know about it, it's about an actress in 1950s when she starts her journey, and then how her journey and her struggles on the film industry and how many people she encounters, and you can see and assume from the title her numerous love affairs, the real truth about them, the real truth that people don't know, and she finally thinks they should know. The ending was quite sad. I personally love Evelyn Hugo. Her character is flawed and strong and perfect in so many ways. She's one of my favorite female character in books. If you haven't read it, you should really give it a try. On the topic of historical books, there's also a very good one, which is Last Night at Telegraph Club. Honestly, I haven't read it, but my sister has, and she also reviewed it in our books with them, which you can surely check out. It's a sapphic romance set in 1950s America. A very good Chinese-American rap in this, which is one of our main character. If you're into historical romance, you should really check this one. Next one. If you love romance books and all those really cheesy but amazing tropes, you should really give a try to Red, White and Royal. In this book, the Prince of Wales falls in love with the first son of Miss. And it's already a crazy trope, I think we can already say it as a trope. It's so perfect. The characters are mind-blowing. There's found family trope. There's kind of enemies to lovers trope, more like it is to lovers. But there is. There's a very good bisexual representation. Also, the struggles of having a turkey in your bedroom. You'd know if you read it. I really loved it. My sister and I body read this book. It was so good. I have reread it numerous times after that. So if you are into adult romance and if you generally like romance books and is ready for adult romance book, really give it a try. Another side note: Red, White and Royal Blue is having a movie. We have probably seen the posters that we have not. It is having a movie and I'm so excited for it. The shooting is, I think, going on. We will get the trailer very soon. I'm so excited. Moving on to the next one. The next 4 books that I'm going to talk about is all of them are young adult and new adult books that are coming of age, and it's all about discovering your identity and sexuality and coming to terms with it, and how the people around you reacts about it. It's all like that. But if you want to read pride books or books with LGBTQ characters, to know more about it, to know more about this identities, and in an educating way, you should really give these books a try. It was so eye-opening for me. They were so good, and you really feel for these characters. Or you would want to recommend these books to someone else, you should really do it. The first one is If I Was Your Girl. This book has really good trans representation, and if you haven't read any books about any trans character, you should really read it first, and then the struggle they have been in that we don't really understand most of the time, but this book helps quite a lot to understand what they are going through, And this book is about a girl who in a school, and she falls in love with this boy, and they are in a good relationship and everything. She has good friends, but she's actually a trans woman. So when they get to know that she's trans, how they react to it and what happens after that, and then you get to know about her struggle from childhood, how her mother actually supports her, and her parents divorced kind of because of her, or that's what she thinks, but it's actually quite different. And how her parents is coping up with the fact, and how they're supporting her, and how her boyfriend and friend or is going to react when that thing that she kept a secret is going to come out. So it's one point it's quite sad, but it's have a very good representation and it has a happy ending. I loved it. I love this book. The next one is Felix Ibarra. Also, when you see this spread like this is so good. This cover is so good. Everything about this book is so good. It's another one of my favorite books. So the main character here is a painter, which I love the most. Okay, so there's a lot of talk about arts, first of all, and then there's a very good mind-blowing painting scene where our main character Felix paints his own self-portrait, paints his self-portrait in different mediums, which is like so gorgeous. I kind of want to see it on screen just to see the paintings, nothing else. And it has the trope of friends to lovers, Bangladeshi representation, which was kind of unexpected. I didn't know that it was going to be. Felix is black,
Still
queer,
questioning
and
him.
transgender, and his pronouns and his sexuality and his sexual orientation, and then there's this rivalry with this other guy, and then there's typical teenage secrets are spilled, and they get to know they're all misunderstood and have normal teenage stuff. But yeah, and the ending is so cute. There's this pride parrot scene. They propose to each other and they finally kiss there. It was so cute. The whole pride parrot scene was so very cute. Moving on to the next one, I Show the Best, which I've talked about in the previous video. As you can see, it's one of my favorite books of all time, so I always recommend it, always. So this is about another artist, MC, which is Ben, who comes out with their parent as non-binary, and next thing is very horrific. Their parents sold them out of the house and they started living with their older sister. Their struggle after they started another high school in the last year, how they cope with it, their struggles with all of it, and there comes Nathan, a love interest, who is a human sunbeam, and oh god, you need to stop singing over him. And how he supports Ben, and when they finally come out to him, how he reacts. It was a very good book. There's a lot of time and it will break your heart, but it's also very sweet and very realistic and very cute, happy ending. And these characters would live with you forever, for sure. Fourth book is Loveless, which have a very beautiful asexual representation. Honestly, I haven't read the book, but I have known about it because my friend, who have also recently started bookstagram, is obsessed with it. She loves it so much, and I have got to know about it from her. And there's also this Indian character, that's why I'm kind of interested in reading the books. So I think I'll read it. And also Alice Osman. I have read graphic novels of Alice Osman, but I haven't read any of her novels. So I also want to read it because I want to know her writing style. So I'll surely read it this month. The next book, the last prompt of today is books. Books with LGBTQ characters that are actually fun. The first one I have in this prompt is Boyfriend Material. This is one hell of a hilarious book I have read in a long time. I was reading it at a train and it's quite embarrassing for me. Laughing out suddenly out of nowhere and people looking at me was so hilarious. But the book is also very hilarious. So our main character Luz, who is a walking disaster, we can say. He started fake dating his lawyer Oliver, who is also totally different from him. He's very controlled in his life, not at all wild very loose, and he has no scandal in his life, which is completely opposite of Luz, because thanks to his father, who is a so-called kind of abandoned him, thanks to him, his personal life is totally on papers. Paparazzis are always following him and seeing him in very unfortunate scenes and finding him in very unfortunate scenes because let's say he's a walking disaster. After started fake dating with Oliver, mutual benefit. I love this too with all of my heart, Luz and Oliver, and this book is a series. It's the first one. The second one is called Husband Material, and the third one have not come out yet. So if you want to have a laugh, you should definitely read this book. But it also have a very very cute romance. The last book of today is Gentleman's Guide to Biyas and I. Again, another book that I have not read, but my sister have read it, and it is quite funny. It's also you can also read it as a historical book. So our main character Monty, who is either drunk or gambling or in arms with a man or a woman, and then that when his kind of abusive father sends him to his coming of age journey around Europe. So he is in this journey with his very charming sister, who is a character everyone would love, and his crush slash best friend Parsi. And that book is all about their adventures and everything, and how they finally get together. So in this book we have a good bisexual rep, also historical. Also, it's in historical genre. You can have a good laugh. It has good bisexual rep and demisexual rep. If you want to read books with LGBTQ characters as a beginner, you should give all of this a try, or you could choose your favorite genre or anything. Thank you for watching till now, and if you like this kind of content, like this video, share it, subscribe the channel, and don't forget to check out our bookstagram, because we post all of our reviews and recommendations and reels in there. Honestly, choosing these books was quite a hard job for me, because I want to put all the books I have read in this list, because there are so many that I love but couldn't add. As this list is for a beginner, you should totally check out all the other books, and there are so many books that I haven't read yet. So as the honorable mention, I would like to recommend all these. I loved all of them, so it's quite hard for me to choose. So yeah, they're there.